a link to send them to. Oh, well, whatever. Who cares? It's cool. Guys, we're live. Gonna let you come in. Neil and I were sorting out topics right now. Noah is our MC. He's kind of going through everything. And he will be addressing, and this time we're live on Periscope as well. Wow, look at that. And so, yeah, leave comments and then we'll try to jump around, leave some time for Q&A while Neil and I record, and just hang out with us for the next 90 minutes. Ask your most burning questions. It will be a good time. Yeah, damn. I should have sent the email out because we can add people in Zoom, but we can't do it elsewhere. But that's okay. It's just gonna be us hanging out today.
I'll post something in the LinkedIn if someone wants to go up. I can share the Zoom.
Well, you know what? What we could do is enable waiting room. Okay, cool. So what you could do, Noah, is you can send a link to people and just have them join this meeting.
You guys there, or is it me?
Huh?
Oh, that's me.
What's your internet? So no, you know how to pull the link, right? There's a password now and everything.
Yeah, let me find it real quick. It's inside of the invite, right?
If you go to participants, here I'll just drop it in chat.
Okay. Got it.
And then you need a password too. So the password is God, what the hell? So I'm gonna lock the meeting. Oh, no one else can join. Never mind. Don't do that. New participants can join. Wait, how do I invite again? Here it is. Here. Meeting password 714363. I'll have Zach actually send out an email real quick.
Cool. Do you want me to post that publicly or?
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool.
Oh, we're pretty far ahead.
Yeah, we are. Cool. Anybody saying anything yet, Noah?
Not yet. Well, let me see on the restream.
See how many people we got. We got a ton of people. A ton of people being like 4 people for each channel. All right, guys, we're gonna get started in about like a minute. So go get a drink of water or something. Go use the restroom if you need. It's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a good time. All right. You ready?
No.
We got 5, right? We got 6, 7.
I need 10.
Oh yeah, but you know, we go with it.
Maybe we'll get some good questions that can be.
Yeah, maybe we'll get
plugged in my mic yet. 1 minute.
Oh, that's right. Wow, you could have gotten away with it.
No, would have caught me.
Yeah.
All right, guys, give us about a minute and then we are going to get started. Ask your most burning business marketing questions. You can ask how Neil keeps his hair so shiny, his head so shiny. That's another question. That's a very relevant topic as well. But yeah. And Noah is actually going to share the link with you guys to join. And then there's a password that's attached to it. You can join. And then what we can do is if you ask a question and then we pick the question, we'll actually add you to, we'll make you we'll show you on video and then you can ask the question there. And yeah, it'll be good. I think you will join in a meeting room, so you won't join directly. And then we'll kind of let you in from there. All right. Dude, we can do We can do like 35 lessons after 35 million. Oh, you just did it. Okay, that's cool.
You see, I changed it to SEO because SEO
Yeah.
one will do better.
Yeah.
Boom. All right, we're good for
All
a
right.
bit.
Let's
Wait,
do it.
Let me go plug in my mic. Go in another room so you guys don't hear my baby.
And then for those of you that want to join in and ask your questions in the break, I am posting in LinkedIn comments. There's the link on the LinkedIn event page.
I thought Noah was gonna say, for those of you who want to hear Neil's baby.
Yes, that too.
Boom. Hold up the mic.
It's not even on.
How's it not on? It's on. Testing. Yeah, it's on.
Okay, it's on. All
Oh,
right.
do you have to change the mic? Built out outlet.
Yes, you do. Hit
Scarlet. Yeah, it's on. It says on Scarlet.
I think you sound fine. Yeah, okay, that's way better.
Boom.
Like when you're on it like this. You guys talk about how you tackled imposter syndrome. I still feel imposter syndrome right now. It's better to have it forever because it's going to force you to work harder. Yeah. How do you feel about it?
I don't know what imposter syndrome is.
It's like when you feel like, okay, when you compare yourself to like the billionaires of the world, you're not quite there yet, right? So you're like, okay.
You mean not quite there yet or not anywhere near close there yet?
Not quite there yet, but you're always comparing yourself to other people that are like, oh my God, they're too good. I'm not at their level, whatever. Right. So I think it's healthy to have that kind of thing. So that's just me.
All right, let's do this.
All right. I'm going to record. And then Noah, make sure you remind me to record as well. Otherwise I'll forget.
You got it.
Doesn't record to this computer. Let's do this. All right, we are recording and then we are going live right now. Here we go. Welcome to another episode of Marketing School. I'm Eric Sue.
And I'm Neil Patel.
And today we are going to talk about where the good investment opportunities are right now. And Neil, now is a good time. We're recording this as of May 8th, 2020. So it's not quite the right time to start investing yet, at least in my opinion. But knowing that we're still in the middle of this pandemic right now, I think it's good to think about investment opportunities. So how are you looking at opportunities, or are you even thinking about opportunities at the moment?
I'm not really thinking about opportunities right now because I think it's too early. Unless it's the stock market, it may go a little bit lower, but I doubt it's going to drop to like the Dow going down to like 18,000 or anything like that. So my big philosophy is whether the market goes down or not, if you end up buying some stocks and you hold it for 10 years, you'll make money. And again, that's just my philosophy. I could be totally wrong in that, but I am a big believer in that. Especially if you pick companies that are like going where the future is, like Amazon, if someone's doing like Google has their Waymo, so transportation without a driver, like things like that. Then the other thing that I'm big on is just waiting 6 months for things to crash. Because you have to remember, the government, not just in the United States, but all around the world, has put in so much money into all these economies that it's helping keep things up. So when things like you don't have to pay your mortgage or rent for a bit and eventually you have to make up for it and pay it, it's not going to hit people right now. And that's why you're not seeing prices go down. But maybe in 6 months to a year, you'll see a much bigger drop. Yeah,
I think one of the most important things you can look at. So Neil and I will kind of try to even go beyond stock market, but you look at Warren Buffett. He just did a shareholders meeting for the first time. It was a virtual shareholders meeting. First time doing the virtual shareholders meeting, and he did it this past weekend. And the main thing for him is that he's sitting on $137 billion in cash. He did not move. He has not done anything. Go ahead, Neil.
Oh, no.
You look like you wanted to talk. Anyway, so Warren, you got the Oracle of Omaha, Berkshire Hathaway saying, look, there's no good buying opportunities right now. But he did dump all his airline stock. That's like probably the biggest move that he made. So if he's saying that, and then like the general sentiment is whenever Neil and I talk, we talk, probably every other day or so. We're just kind of waiting right now. There's no need to go in and rush. I think, it's sad. At least this is my opinion. I still think we're in the very beginning of this. I do not think this thing is going to end quickly. I just read today, I don't know if you saw on CNBC, but the real unemployment rate is like 23%, which is crazy. and it's probably going to go higher. So now's not the time.
I saw that, and unemployment can't just be bad in the US. I bet you globally it's a lot, it's terrible. And the way I look at that is, it's like in the United States, you're roughly saying 1 out of every 5 people that you see are unemployed. Just imagine that. That's a shitload of people that don't have a job. The economy is not going to recover right away. This isn't something that you just bounce back really quickly, just like we went down really fast. It's going to be a long recovery, and this is a massive hit that we've taken. So just be patient, and you don't have to go all in and start buying or investing right now, because like I said, and even Eric mentioned, and even better than us, that's what Warren Buffett mentioned. He's just like, it's not the right time. It's too early. He's holding cash. Be patient, because yes, you may not get it at the cheapest rate possible, or you may not make the most that you would if you time things right, because it's just too hard. But you know what? As long as you catch it up on the upswing, you're fine and you'll do well.
Sorry, I was muted. So yeah, I mean, I think, look, we're just talking about stocks right now, but stocks are businesses. At the end of the day, even if you're looking to invest into businesses, now's still not the right time, because I've been having conversations with people. Even if you look at people that have lost their jobs, they're still looking. Like, I was talking to someone yesterday, and this person lost their job, and they're like, yeah, I just lost my job. I still want 150K to be a product marketer. And I'm like, whoa, like, I'm pretty sure, salaries are going to have to come down soon, but people still have these wild expectations right now. So I think we need reality to set in. Just like people weren't really, they kind of were in disbelief of how big this thing would be. And, look at where we are right now. So you kind of have to wait and let people, let the market talk before you start to jump in. So, that's not to say you shouldn't be at least having conversations at the moment, but, just be careful, protect yourself. And I think that's what we got to say about that. You have anything else?
Nope, that's it for mine.
All right. So that is it for today, guys. Go to marketingschool.io/school if you guys are interested in the education program that Neil and I are working on putting together. And we will see you tomorrow. Yeah, Zach, I think maybe it's not a good idea to send the email out, because the waiting room thing is weird, because we have to let them in still. Like how I just let you in. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Okay. So do you want me to not send it? I just saw that I was about to hit send.
Yeah, sorry. It's we can save it for next time we do it. I'll make it a webinar next time. Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right, cool. Thanks. Plant-based future. Robinhood is amazing. Canada future. What is that? Anyway, let's go to the next one. We'll answer these questions. We'll do like 2 more, and we'll start answering questions. So this one's done. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit record. All right, here we go. Welcome to another episode of Marketing School. I'm Eric Su.
And I'm Neil Patel.
And today we're going to talk about 7 simple ways to save money on your marketing.
So you want me to go first with number 1?
Yes.
The easiest way to save money on your marketing is go out there and save money on things like your other bills, right? Because if everything else is cheaper, you can spend more on marketing. So there's a site called gsvlabs.com, and they have this passport service, which is $99. And it gives you credit to things like cloud computing, your Stripe bill, your Salesforce bill, and it just knocks off a lot of expenses. And if you knock off a lot of expenses and you save money, it allows you to spend more on marketing. And some of their coupons and discounts, like they'll give you $100,000 in Amazon Web Services credit, or even $100,000 in Google Cloud credit. That's a lot of money.
Cool. So that one's great. And then the second one I would say is use a service like Truebill. So a lot of us were spending a lot of money on subscriptions. So Truebill can be used to negotiate your own kind of subscription, and they'll kind of make a note of all the subscriptions that you're paying for right now. But at the same time, you can connect it to all your business bank accounts and your business credit cards. And I think they'll help you negotiate it, but they'll take a percentage of whatever they helped you save. So Truebill.com is something to check out.
Another simple thing you can end up do is you can end up changing your payment methods. So a lot of marketing, like ad networks and things like that, what they'll say is if you eventually, as you spend more money, they'll want you to go through invoicing. But at the beginning, especially when you're starting off and you need to save the money, what I would do is go switch out your credit cards for those 2% cash back cards. And I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but if your ads are 2% cheaper and you have 30 days to pay it, it adds up over time.
Yeah. This one, depending on when you listen to this, might not be as relevant anymore. And I'd argue maybe not as, so I'm going to share two right here just to make sure. But if you're paying credit card bills right now, you haven't negotiated a way to, actually that doesn't technically save for you. That actually defers. So never mind. Let's bring this back. So what I would say is think about how you can cut costs as well by outsourcing some of your marketing too, right? So spend on, the things that maybe you had, and this sounds tough, but maybe you had someone that was full-time dedicated to writing, and maybe you don't need that anymore right now. You might need to cut costs there and say, hey, why don't we switch you to a contractor type of thing? Now, this is probably a last resort type of thing because you don't want to mess with someone else's livelihood, but a lot of people are still doing it. So I still wanted to put that out there because that is a way to save on marketing.
Number 5, what I want you to end up doing is right now in your marketing, you're probably paying for a lot of tools. Go look for the free tools for everything that you're doing. Eric has free tools at ClickFlow, like Content Decay tool. I have Ubersuggest, which is a very generous free tool. There's also paid plans of both of ours, but again, you get the point. You can do a lot of stuff for free. There's Google Analytics that you already know about, but you're probably paying for more custom marketing data and BI tools. Like there's Google Data Studio and is 100% free. And you can just go out there and look for all the free versions of tools. And there's some companies, even if you're paying for tools, hit them up and ask them if they have discounts for startups or any startup programs. So that the ones you are paying for, maybe you can get your bills down a little bit more.
All right, number 6. So depending on the business that you're in, maybe working with influencers works well. So now is a time where a lot of influencers, a lot of people are dialing back their marketing budgets. A lot of these influencers that used to make a lot of money, guess what? You get a discount now. So you can reach out to influencers and, especially the ones that are up and coming, and then offer money, and where you can get, exposure for pennies on the dollar. So try reaching out to some influencers. Again, it depends on the industry that you're in, especially if you're B2B, maybe not so much. B2C, maybe.
And last but not least, you can do this with employees and contractors. Keep in mind, the job market's really bad if you're struggling as well. If you're not, I don't recommend doing this, but if you are struggling, you can talk with your marketing team and get them to all take maybe a 10-15% pay cut. You can do that with your contractors as well. The other thing that you can do that's quite unique is if you are paying a lot of contractors and you're spending money and you know that, hey, they want to make sure that you're going to be there for a while. A lot of them will do deals right now where they'll say, hey, if you pay us for 3 months ahead of time, and yes, I know you're outlaying some cash, but what they'll do is they'll say, hey, we'll give you a 10-15% discount, and that adds up.
Yep. All right. So that is it for today. Go to marketingschool.io/school to learn about the education program that Neil and I are putting together. It's a waiting list, and we will see you tomorrow. What's that? Marketingschool.io/live. Ah, nice. Okay, here we go. All right. So we are going to do one more episode, and then we're going to answer some questions. So start dropping your questions in. Noah, do we have any more questions? I see Alex in there. I see Steven. Anything else?
Yeah, there's a couple technical ones about Shopify and tools. Okay. So
cool. All right. I'm going to hit record, and here we go. Welcome to another episode of Marketing School. I'm Eric Su.
And I'm Neil Patel.
And today we're going to talk about 7 unique blog post angles that drive a flood of traffic and links. So first and foremost, I think we need to define what a blog post angle is.
Go for it. Define it.
And so a blog post angle, here, I'll just give you some examples, which we're going to talk about too. So it's basically a type of blog post, right? That's what I would just call it. It's for example, I'll give you number 1 right here. When you think about a blog post angle, how-tos are an angle that are used quite a bit. In fact, eHow, which was founded a long time ago, they used to do really well, not so much anymore. But it used to just be a bunch of how-tos, and they just, they knew that a lot of people on the internet were searching for how-tos, and they just occupied a lot of that search traffic. So how-tos are still proven to work really well because you have new stuff that's coming out all the time. So that's the first one.
Yeah. The other type of unique blog post is anything that's data driven. And if you have a researcher, you can end up creating your own charts, your own graphs. You can do a lot of that stuff in Canva, so you don't need to pay someone. So anytime you publish anything that has a lot of data, what you'll find is not only does it drive traffic, but people will embed those charts and data on their sites and link back to you. And if you don't have the money to pay for anyone to do research on data, you yourself can go Google around, go find other sites that have their data and they're doing it in text-based format, take multiple sources, combine it, put it into images through Canva, put it on your blog. And even though you're citing the original sources, what you'll find is people embed your charts and then link back to you.
Yeah, and the third one is, which is actually a modification of what Neil said, is actually data collaboration. So for example, let's say Neil has Uber Suggest. He has a ton of data, and I can do a collaboration with him. We actually did a collaboration with Hrefs a couple years ago, doing a study on 1 million backlinks, and we looked at 10 different companies, and each one was a really long form post, and that did really well. And we sent it to our list, and that actually yielded a ton of sales qualified leads. So to Neil's point, sure, you can definitely go search for the data, and there's a lot of charts out there that you can share. But at the same time, this is also a good opportunity for you to build some type of partnership and reach out and say, hey, look, we're looking to do this type of study. Are you able to share your API with us for a little bit? We're looking to pull this many rows or whatever. And then, usually they say yes. Actually, I don't think I've ever gotten a no from doing that.
Another one, and this is number 4, is taking other people's popular blog posts and use BuzzSumo. I have a content ideas report. You can just Google for it. Ahrefs has a content explorer report. Take their popular blog posts, turn it into a visual piece of content through an infographic. You can use sites like Infogram to do this. And once you end up publishing that, you can reach out to all the people who originally shared the original article, tell them that you have an infographic version. They'll usually share yours too. And then hit up all the people who linked to the original article and ask them, hey, notice you linked to it. I actually turned it into infographic. Feel free and embed this on your site. And that also builds links as well.
We're number 5?
Yep.
All right. Number 5 is expert interviews. So I really like what First Round Capital does with this. So you go to firstround.com, and their blog is not just any interview, but it's a well-written, they'll take the snippets from the interview, but they'll make it a long form post with a lot of takeaways, a lot of screenshots. And it's just good, right? When you think about building a great company, I always read First Round, and there's always something that I end up sharing with a lot of people and ends up being remarkable. So expert interviews.
And number 6 from my end is similar to Eric's, but a little bit different. It is roundup posts. So you take a lot of experts and you ask them the same question. So for example, there was a recent Google update that happened less than a week ago from recording this episode. And I may ask a ton of experts on, hey, what do you think about the algorithm change? What's one thing people can do to get back their following traffic? And when you have a lot of experts doing that and submitting their questions, you can end up writing a blog post, publishing it, hit up all the experts, ask them to share it, and you'll get a ton of traffic. And some of those people who read the post will also link back to you.
All right. Number 7, last but not least. Neil does a lot of this. We do this as well, but we talk a lot, especially on this podcast. You can think of this as angles too, but how we solved specific things. So, maybe Panda update hit or Penguin update hit, like some type of Google algorithm hit, like how we solved that and how we got our traffic back, right? When you can talk about how you solved that and you can share data in it, then you're sharing something that's proprietary to you, and you're telling people how you solved it. So that's a really good way of approaching it when you think about your angle. So that is it for today. Guys, go to this one. I'm going to change it up. Go to marketingschool.io/live. That's LIVE. We have our virtual growth accelerator now that you can go check out. So go learn about it there. You can fill out an application. If it's a fit, then Neil and I will reach back out to you.
I love how you keep laughing every time I move.
No, because you're like this.
I know. I'm just like, dude, it's so uncomfortable because I'm recording on my on a bed in one of the rooms in the house, or guest room or whatever.
You need a table.
I know I don't have a table right now in this house. So like, this just sucks. Yeah. I'm thinking about I have like a loft area upstairs. I'm thinking about turning and adding a desk and stuff, but
that's so funny. Of all the things you don't have a table.
I don't have a table.
You know what? Anyway, well, we're live right now, so I can't say these things. But Noah, do you wanna read off some questions?
What were you gonna say?
I can't say it right now. We're live.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, we got this one. I thought was pretty funny from Zad Magus on YouTube. Hey guys, do you think people who say they're bored on quarantine and don't find anything to do are going to be poor forever?
I was confused on the question.
I think it's funny. Here, I'll answer it. So, I mean, look, if you have that type of mindset, you're probably going to it's a poor mindset. But I'm not. That's not to say that people can't change their mindset eventually. But I do think that people say they're bored during quarantine. I do think that's generally a lazy mindset. You look at us, like we're finding things to do no matter what. Even if I'm bored, I'm gonna go read something or like take a course or whatever. There's no reason to be bored.
Cool. We got Alex. He's starting an agency. Do you suggest offering website design and doing digital marketing?
He's starting an agency. You should end up doing whatever your customers want. Like if you're going to specialize in design and that's where you're going to get a lot of people for, do that. Or you can even go more specific. Like if a lot of people are going to say, hey, we would love to pay you for WordPress design, and you think you can get a lot of customers for that, then by all means, specialize in just that.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's see. Musa Beck is a student studying in his bachelor in global business. What advice would you give as far as skills to enhance him to be successful?
Honestly, I mean, look, I think whatever you study in school, that's great. Global business management, sure. So I think probably if I were to go back to college right now, I would actually probably think about studying philosophy, or it used to be, I would study coding, but that's not even the case anymore. I think if you study philosophy or you learn how to write well, here, I'll give you a couple of things. You have to learn copywriting. I think if you learn copywriting, that's going to be huge because you're communicating with people all the time. It reflects into how you sell things as well, and it affects how well you persuade people. So I think copywriting is a top skill. Neil, what else do you have?
At the end of the day, it's just like, forget studying, just go and execute and learn by doing, and then you'll figure out what you're good at and then just go do more of that. Because whatever you're good at is usually what you can end up making money at as well.
What I would say is I think I'm speaking for myself, but feel free to chime in, Neil. I think early 20s, you try a lot of different things and you fail at a lot. And then you realize you're only good at a couple of things. And then you really narrow down on, and then probably by the time you hit your 30s, that's when you try to focus in more. And you're not trying to do too many things. I think that's at least a lesson I learned. I don't know how you feel about that, Neil.
Yeah, I'm very similar, in which in your early ages, you want to just try as much as stuff. And then from there, hone in on what you're really good at and then develop that skill and be the best at just that one thing.
Yep. Go for it. No, we'll do one more.
All right. So Ivan is just starting his online project. And at the moment, he still has a full-time job. His question is, how do you invite people to do guest posting on his blog? And what can he offer them so it's a win-win?
I think if you're just starting out, like you got to think about what's in it for them, right? So if you're just starting out and you have no traffic, there's really no reason to do a guest blog post on your site because you're not really offering them exposure to anything. So you got to think about, like, also on the reverse side of that, you think if I reach out to like Michael Jordan or Justin Timberlake or something, and I say, hey, if you be on my podcast, I'm going to offer you exposure. They're going to be like, screw off, man. Like, I don't need your exposure because they're too big already. So you just got to think about what the incentive would be for people to guest blog posts. And right now, I would argue, unless you bought a blog and you have a lot of traffic, if so, good for you. But I'd probably argue there's no incentive right now.
Cool. I got one more for Neil. What was the conversion lift you saw from the sticky execution? I assume this was a hello bar above the nav on neilpatel.com/consulting.
It wasn't much. It was something, but it wasn't much. I know that sounds weird. I don't know the exact number, but it's there because it helped. And when we look at it from an overall site perspective, the problem is when you run A/B tests on just like a sticky bar, you'll find that it'll help. But then when you add in other elements, it won't help as much because there's multiple ways people can then end up converting. So that's why I don't know the exact percentage. But when you look at everything combined from the exit pop-ups to the sticky bar to the sliders, it all adds up and helps.
Cool. So guys, feel free to keep asking your questions. Neil and I, we're going to record like 3 to 4 more, and then we're going to come back to your questions. Hope you guys are enjoying this. Let's see. We got the next one. Oh, this is going to be fun. Are you ready? I can't tell if you're ready. That looks so like your back has got to be like hurting every now and then.
My back has been hurting for the last few days. Now I'm just laying on the bed in hopes that it's better.
That's going to start hurting soon too. Anyway, we should probably do the next one. So then you can switch position. All right, here we go. Welcome to another episode of Marketing School. I'm Eric Sue.
And I'm Neil Patel.
And today we're going to talk about 7 unknown tools that will double your revenue. So I'll start with number 1. Number 1 is Zest. That's ZEST.is, I believe. Zest. You can find it. And it surfaces a lot of marketing articles that you can read, good marketing articles, but you can also use it as a promotion tool as well. We've used it as a promotion tool, and it's helped us get more qualified clicks, more leads coming to our site, and you can actually pay them for promotion. So not a lot of people know about it, but it's really a lot of marketers that I know like it.
Number 2, Cameo. It's kind of a tool, kind of a service. You install the app and you tell a celebrity to record a message talking about your company. A lot of them won't do it. Some of them will. You can use your marketing collateral. And if a celebrity talks positive about you, you'll notice that your conversion rates go up.
Number 3 is copy testing. I believe you can go to copytesting.com. Pep from Conversion Excel just released this, but this is an ability for you to basically, you can pay to have someone evaluate your copy to see how effective it is, and they'll kind of rate different, sections on your site. And I think you can pay for different packs at like $250 or whatever for like 10. I actually, don't quote me on it. I don't know the exact price, but it just was released this week. So go check it out.
Number 4, with your checkout page, there's a lot of ways you can make money. If you're e-commerce, you can use Bolt. If you're subscription or service-based, you can use things like FastSpring or Recurly. What these people do is offer multiple payment options. And they say if Recurly says, if you take PayPal, on average, you end up generating 18% more revenue per year, which is a lot of money. So they add all the payment options. They figure out which ones to show to which user based on their IP, their location, etc., to maximize your conversion rate. So check them out, whether it's FastSpring or Recurly or even Bolt.
What are we on? Number 5? Number 5, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Number 5. Oh my God. I should have recommended this to you. Yeah. You got to download this after, actually, Neil. Crisp.ai. That's KRISP.ai. So imagine this. Neil has a baby sometimes that you'll hear in the background when we're recording. Crisp will eliminate the baby noise. So any type of background noise will be eliminated when you're recording. And I don't think they charge it. I think it's a freemium tool as well. So I think yesterday I was talking to someone and it was Rich. So he had a lot of stuff going on and you couldn't hear anything. It was like us recording right now. So if you have like a lot of background noise or whatever and you're doing podcasts, check out crisp.ai.
Number 6, when it comes to tools, if you really want to increase your revenue, check out all the ones that add upsells from what's the one on Shopify? I think it's Referral Candy, or is it Referral Candy that does an upsell? It's something like that. There's ClickFunnels that ends up doing it. Samcart has one-click upsells and all that kind of stuff for checkout bumps. But if you use any of these tools, it's a easy way to upsell your current member base and getting more and more revenue from them.
Cool. Number 7 would be Supermetrics. So we love Supermetrics because it makes reporting for us very simple. It's very powerful. If you think about combining with Google Sheets, Google Data Studio, it takes all the data that you have from, could be enterprise analytics tools, could be just regular Google Analytics, your ad campaigns, everything, just combine it, and it makes really cool graphs for you. And I'm actually really proud each month when I show these graphs to my team because it feels like I did the work, but I really didn't. So Supermetrics, go check it out. So anyway, guys, that is it for today. Go to marketingschool.io/live. That's LIV. Neil and I were doing our Growth Accelerator event. It's virtual now. And go check it out. Fill out a form there. And then if it looks like it's a good fit, Neil and I will reach out to you. See ya. Where'd you go?
I'm moving locations.
All right. Neil's moving locations. I'm going to answer a question while Neil moves locations. This one's we're going to make this an episode, actually. What do you think about what are your recommendations for finding a great CTO for your product? Let's make that an episode.
All right.
If you download crisp.ai, you can do it anywhere in your house.
Well, I'm too lazy to download it right now.
Oh, yeah.
And at this point, I don't even care because I'm just so uncomfortable.
Where are you now?
Better. Now I'm on a couch upstairs.
Okay. All right. That's done. Guys, we'll do 2 more episodes and then we're going to answer your questions. Keep the questions coming. Neil's getting set up again.
I'm already set up.
Okay, here we go. Welcome to another episode of Marketing School. I'm Eric Sue.
And I'm Neil Patel.
And today we're going to talk about what we've learned by sending out 41.1 million marketing emails.
That's a lot of emails.
I know, mostly by you.
Yes, but you sent out a lot as well.
I sent out some, not 41.1 million though.
What's funny is I don't even really know my numbers. The 41.1, I got it from my ConvertKit. I logged in. And I'm like, I guess
probably
it's
sent out more. Yeah.
Yeah, because before that I was on MaraPost. Then before that I was on, I think, Aweber.
Weren't you on Keep before too?
Oh yeah, I was on Keep as well. I still am on Keep for part of my list.
Yeah.
So in combination of everything, I've probably sent out over 100 million emails.
Yeah. So let's talk about, I guess, the key lessons from you sending over 100 million. Let's talk about all the things, deliverability, spam, all that.
The biggest thing is scrub your list. Like everyone's like, wow, you get so much traffic. How many emails, do you get? Like if you had to guess, how many emails do you think I collect a day?
10,000.
Yeah, spot on. It's a bit less than that. Monday was 8,560. Tuesday was 9,897. Then 9,434. Then 8,669. And that's just English. So I collect even more when you're looking at international. But my English list is, where is it? And it's been going up recently. It hasn't been this high for like earlier on in the month. It was averaging around 4,000 a day. So I've more so doubled it. But when I look at my total English list, it's around 56,000 or 563,177. With my current growth rate, I'll probably be around like 650 by the end of this month. But the biggest thing, the reason my emails don't grow too fast is I scrub my emails really heavily. If I send you 4 emails and you don't open up one, I stop sending you emails altogether. And that's what's helped keep my deliverability great. My opens great. My clicks great. You want my emails, I'll keep sending them. If not, if you don't open them, I'm just going to remove you. Because if you keep sending people emails that don't open them, Gmail and Outlook, they just put your emails in the spam box.
And what are some numbers you can share right now? What's like your open rate, your deliverability right now?
Sure. So I recently sent out an email to 547,639 people. It had a 28.7% open rate. And keep in mind, after a few more days, it'll hit 30%. That's my average. My click rate was really low on this email, 5.6%. So I only got 30,702 clicks. Again, after a few more days, it'll go up. So maybe I'll end around 32,000, 33,000 clicks. On a good email, like if I really nail it, I can end up getting, anywhere from a 30 to 36% open rate. It gets really hard. 30 is more so my average, but click rate, I can end up getting all the way up to like 10% clicks. So like I had one post that was called, the email that I sent was 8 things removed from your website. I had a 34.3% open rate and a 10.3% click rate. I had less subscribers at that time, but I had 47,168 clicks. That one was amazing for me.
And so when you're talking about scrubbing, how does that process look for people? Like, what is the flow like? Like if they don't, like what's the if then, right? If they don't open an email,
they don't open up the 4 last emails I sent, remove them.
Got it. And there's no opportunity or attempt from you to re-engage with them.
You should, but I collect so many emails each day, I don't really care.
Exactly. So I think once you get to the volume that Neil has, we're talking 500K plus, you don't need to worry as much. But I think if you're smaller, you probably should think about, okay, if they don't open, in a 4-day period or 4 emails, then you might send them an email saying, hey, do you still want to be on this list? If they click this, then they stay on the list. If not, then, they get removed from the list. And you can be a little more sophisticated there, but that's one way of doing it. Neil, do you have anything else to add?
That's the main thing I end up using. Like I can try to tell you there's 50 things on email, but the biggest one is scrubbing, and most people don't do that.
Cool. All right. So that is it for today. Everyone go to marketingschool.io/live. That's LIVE. Check out the application for the Growth Accelerator virtual event. That's not to say we're not doing the live events. We still are when the timing is right, but check it out, virtual. All right. See you guys tomorrow. All right. Let's answer some questions. What do we got?
There was the couple like follow-up questions to that episode. I don't know if that's relevant, or do you want to answer something
Yeah,
different?
no, sure, we can do it.
Cool. So Trevor from Periscope asked, with that large of a list, how far do you spread out the sends? Do you send by time zone?
No, I just send them all at once. I'll just do a big blast and they get it when they get it.
Awesome. Awesome. And then Stringer Society asks, and this is on YouTube, resend to non-openers?
Actually, before we do that, so, look, best practice would be ideally you do separate it by time zone, but sometimes
That's true.
Yeah.
Eric is right. But because I scrub my list so heavily, they're super engaged.
Right. And then do you resend to non-openers and change the subject line, or do you roll open rates out of both of them?
I usually get a 30% on my first email. So then sometimes I do, like, if it's an important email that I'm selling to, I'll resend to non-openers, and then my rate will go to 40-something% open rate. And I'll just change the subject line.
Cool. Now a different question from Steven on the Facebook. What are your thoughts on marketing and human assist, like chatbots? What are your thoughts on how they work together?
I had a chat with this guy yesterday. His name's Tanner Chidister. I totally butchered it. Chidister. Thank you for saving me there. So this guy, what he does is he sells high ticket coaching, and he drives ads. And what he basically does, he calls this conversational conversions. I thought he branded the word. But he drives them to a ManyChat bot, and then he has 12 people that are engaging. And once he, all those people engage the people, and they're like, hey, like, okay, now you can go here to book a call. They're super primed, they're super qualified. And that's how he ends up closing these people for about 15 to 20 grand a pop. And that works out well for him. So that's one example of, chatbots and human assist working out well.
Cool. I got on YouTube, we have Because the Internet is starting an agency, and he or she is worried about saturation. Is it even a good idea right now? What was the thing? Is it even possible to start an agency right now is the question.
Yeah, why not? I mean, a lot of businesses are started during downturn. I mean, look, Airbnb is struggling right now, but they started during a downturn. Slack, I think, started during a downturn too. I was listening to a talk with Robert Kiyosaki. He's like, I made all my money during, like, most money I've ever made was during a downturn. So I think you start now, and then you take a beating, but you're going to learn a lot more, and you're going to accelerate a lot faster. Because even when, like, Neil and I talk right now, we talk about how our timeline has been sped up probably by a couple of years, and we're able to take shots that we probably would not have taken, if things were normal.
Cool. And then Mike on LinkedIn is starting has a podcast. So he's wondering what the best way to market a podcast for your business is.
How would you, best way to market a podcast is just push it out to your email list, social channels, let everyone know, make sure you're using the right keywords. Similar to SEO, popular keywords get more listens for your podcast and search more on, the iTunes store, whatever it's called.
What did, what's it? Who messaged us the other day? It was,
Jason Demers and Sam McRoberts.
Yeah. So let's see the email that we wrote to him. I think this is relevant. So some thoughts we said was, if you want to market a podcast, let's just say market a podcast. That's the topic, right? If you have an email list, hit your list as much as you can. Consistency more than anything. Most people give up too easily. Have a great mic. Neil and I, we use the same mics. We have a Heil PR40, and then we both have a Scarlett mixer that makes us sound better. Neil and I used to get complaints that we sound like we're recording from a bathroom. So that actually docked us. Like, our rating used to be like 4.9 or so. Now we're like 4.7. But, we improved. And a lot of the lower ratings were because of the sound quality, because that's one of the things that you can control. So you want to make sure you do a good job there. The other thing is we're doing this on Restream right now. So we do Restream to a bunch of different channels just because, we're on video. So why not make the most of it? So those are just a couple of things.
Do you want one more, or?
Yeah, we'll take one more, and then you guys keep putting in your questions.
Cool. This is another one from Steven. He's asking about LinkedIn Live, ? Thoughts on that, growing features with the Microsoft ecosystem? I know we're doing a LinkedIn Live now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a great way to get more traffic. A lot of people are on LinkedIn Live, and because LinkedIn Live is lagging compared to the competition as a social network, they push it really hard, and you get way more views and engagement per follower than what I've seen on the other social networks.
The other thing I'll say too is like I went live 4 times yesterday just to test it because I was doing podcast interviews and I wasn't getting a ton of views. I got like 100 or so, but I was getting text messages from really relevant people saying, "Hey, I watched the live," because they're looking at their competitors. It's like, dude, you interviewed my competitor. How dare you? Blah blah blah. Like there's like stuff like that. So anyway, we are gonna go back to recording. Guys, keep the questions coming. This is fun. Neil and I enjoy answering the questions. So here we go. Next one's gonna be fun. Welcome to another episode of Marketing School. I'm Eric Su.
And I'm Neil Patel.
And today we're going to talk about how to get a good digital marketing intern. So first, we should define what do you and I think is a good marketing intern?
Someone who is self-sufficient, right? So that way they don't need to be hand-holded. Someone who is a really fast learner. Someone who can learn on their own, which gets into self-sufficiency. And then someone who's a really quick executor.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much it. If you think about it, Neil and I would want someone, and by the way, like those of you that are coming out, you're graduating this year, who knows what's going to happen. If you're looking for a good internship, let Neil and I know, because we're always looking for good interns. So growth-oriented person has to be very hungry, looking to learn, looking to get better all the time. Ideally, you're telling us things that we don't know. Because if you come to us and you surprise us with something that we don't know or like a new idea and you offer to execute on the idea, that's so much more valuable. So it's not even just pointing out the problems, but coming with the solution. That's how you get promoted. And that's how you get to do really cool stuff. Because if you think about working with Neil or myself, we have all these different projects and we would love to plug in people that are really humble, hungry, and smart. And, I think there's a lot of good interns that come from this that can easily grow into people that are leading these projects as well. That's ultimately what we want. And, we've been fortunate to work with a lot of these types of people. You look at Neil, you can speak to a couple of people that are still helping you today that started working for free. And now they're kind of running things for you.
That's correct. It's a lot of people who start out for free, but they weren't really interns. See, most of those people had already previous experience. I myself don't use really too many interns because I don't have the time.
Here, I'll start with it.
I do know that you end up doing it and you've had good luck with it, right? I just haven't had the time with it because it's like I already have a ton of staff.
Yeah.
It's like the last thing I want to do is have more people to manage. But first off, what's your process of finding these interns?
Yeah. So here's how we do it. I mean, I think, look, if let's think about Neil right now, he probably has operations people that are focused on an internship program, but it's probably shut down right now. So, some of the best people that you're going to get are going to come from the internship program. So always think about that. For us, what we do is we have a partnership with USC because I teach there every now and then, and even with Pepperdine as well. So if you can go to your local colleges and even speak to them and be like, hey, like I want to funnel some people in to kind of what we're doing. That's always good. And what we do is we also post to local college boards too. So in LA, at least, when you post to a college board, it actually can post to all of them, like UCLA, USC, and all of these. That actually yields good results. But what I would say is in the past, what's worked out the best for us has been AngelList. Some of the best people that I've ever worked with that emerged from internships. The one guy I mentioned before that works for Gary Vee now, Raghav, he wrote an 8,000 word blog post. He went to school, University of Michigan, super smart guy. And the 8,000 word blog post actually taught me things that I didn't know. And I agreed with that. And he said, hey, how would I help you do it? So you show initiative, you show me something that, show me the problems, and then you offer to solve the solution. That's how we got these people. So AngelList has been really, really good. And I still continue to hear good things about it. And we still continue to post to AngelList.
Okay, so then you get your interns from there. I'm assuming most of people either want to be in marketing or they want to test it out, but they don't have the most marketing experience, or else they wouldn't be interns.
Yep.
So what do you do to make sure that they're actually valuable and you're getting results from them, which also benefits them in their career versus you having to sit there and train them all the time?
Yeah, I think that's the most important thing, the training. So yes, you can have a good hiring process to source these people, but if you don't train them really well, you're going to be screwed. So, what we do when they come in is, sure, yeah, we make them read a couple of things. We make them go through certifications. That's one piece of it. It's like, sure, go through digital marketer or go through whatever certifications, prove that you did it, and then write a summary on it. Okay. That's actually doing homework. But let's say they're doing, they're interning to be a paid media manager. What will happen afterwards is, you know what? They actually have to shadow people that are actually doing the work right now, and then they actually have to do the work, and then we'll evaluate the work to see how good the work is, because you can get all these certifications, but if you aren't actually good at doing the work, then we have to say goodbye. So it goes from a stringent hiring process to studying, getting some certifications, to actually shadowing, then actually doing the work and getting evaluated on it.
And then what do you do in the long run? Let's say the intern works out. What would you do? And if they don't work out, I'm assuming you just let them go.
Yeah, they don't work out, we let them go. But if they do work out, which more often than not, they do work out, which is why I love the internship process. They get a full-time offer.
That's great. Any final words?
Nope. Besides that, guys, go to marketingschool.io/live. That's LIVE to fill out an application for our growth accelerator, which is virtual now, but live will come back eventually. All right. So that's it for today, and we will see you tomorrow. Ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Welcome to another episode of Marketing School. I'm Eric Su.
And I'm Neil Patel.
And today we're going to talk about 7 unconventional tactics to scale any agency or consulting business right now. So, number 1, Neil and I talk about this a lot. I think during times like this where people are kind of might be dialing back their purse strings a little bit, you offer some type of thing where it's a no-brainer to work with you. So a no-brainer example would be, let's say I go to Neil and say, hey, Neil, I'd like to work with you. I'd like to provide agency services for you, and I know you need help and you can't really afford it right now. Why don't we work for you for a month or 2 for free? And then, then we have like an annual deal agreement after that. So basically how it works is you don't pay for the first 2 months, but what you can do is you can split up the cost with the next 10 months afterwards, and you can make it that's good for you actually, because you get repaid on it. They get to kind of save on cash flow for a little bit, and you get a longer term deal. So that's the first one.
Yeah. The next one is use project management solutions, because if you're trying to scale your consulting business and you don't use project management solutions to communicate with your clients, communicate internally, and track time and hours on who's doing what, it's a pain and a nightmare to continually scale and grow. By doing that, what you'll do is you'll quickly figure out which clients are profitable, which ones aren't, which ones you're not spending enough time on, which ones you need to spend more time on, as well as how people could be more efficient too. So that way you can get more done for your customers for the amount of time that they're spending. Because even if they're paying you a flat fee, in theory, it ends up coming down to an hourly rate, because you know that you have costs and you have to make sure it's profitable.
All right. Number 3, I think it's really important to learn copywriting. And what I mean by that is not just writing essays or whatever, but learning how to be persuasive, learning how to structure your sentences, learning how to write less, doing less with more. A lot of that ties into how you do work with anybody, really, whether it's your friends or, whether it's in business. But go to, there's a course called Increase.academy. And, this was shared by our mutual friend, Syed. And he actually shared it with his team. And what happened was they got a lot better at copywriting. Like they know how to write email copy now. They know how to write all this other copy, right? So LinkedIn copy, email copy, LinkedIn especially. I see the people that are writing good copy, they get 400 to 500 comments or so, and that's just awareness for you. So I think taking advantage of organic reach with LinkedIn, and just in general when you email people, being very succinct, that's going to get you more at bats for getting more deals.
As a consulting business, and this gets into number 4, is you need consistent deals, new customers, more revenue, because if you're not getting that, 1, you're not going to scale, but 2, your consulting business is going to dwindle away. So what I want you to do is go look at all the recently funded companies. You can get a list on places like Crunchbase, and I want you to outline everything that they're doing wrong that you can help them with, and break down how they can fix it all in a PDF, send it to the founders and the investors, and let them have all the information for free. What you'll find is a portion of them, 20, 30%, should be hiring you to fix those issues. It's a great way to scale your client generation or your revenue generation side of your consulting business.
All right. Number 5 is niching down. So here's the thing, we have an agency accelerator coaching program where we help agencies grow. And the number one thing that I see that's a problem is that people in the very beginning, they try to compare themselves to the big agencies. Oh my God, the big agencies have all these big clients. They work with all these people. They work across all these industries. They're full service, and they try to be everything to everyone. But keep in mind, they have a lot more resources in terms of capital and human capital as well. You don't have that. So you have to think about what you're really good at, what industries you're good at, also what services you're exceptional at. Because if you try to do all this stuff in the beginning, it's going to overwhelm you. And before you know it, you're out of business. So you got to think about how you can be focused in the very beginning. And the problem with agency type businesses is it's really easy to become unfocused because there's a shiny new object every single day.
The next thing I want you to do is streamline your reporting process. There's a lot of tools out there, from the SEM rushes to Ahrefs to what's the other one? Agency analytics. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Raven tools. You know, there's a lot of software for whatever niche you're in that'll help you streamline your reporting. You can even use things like Google Data Studio. But if you don't have your reporting right, because any type of consulting business you're in, you're going to deal with clients on a regular basis, send them notes on what's being done and the results, whether it's marketing or something else. But streamlining the report creation will save so many hours from your team.
All right. Number 7, last but not least, think about how you can structure. I talked about in the very beginning, pricing where maybe they don't pay you, but if you can, if the timing is right, what you can do is think about how you can price based on value or how you can price based on performance. So here's an example. If I get on a sales call with somebody, instead of saying, hey, we just charge, $2,500 a month or $5,000 a month or whatever, I actually have a conversation saying, hey, Neil, if we're able to get these results for you, let's say we make you $10 million. Are you willing to pay $1 million? Neil will be like, of course. And, we'll be like, okay, how much is
it 10 million in profit or
yeah,
10 million
in profit?
All right. 10 million in revenue. Yeah, I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's assume Neil is not, Neil's not the entrepreneur. Let's say it's actually like a big company and, it's like a executive, like a director level. They're probably going to be okay with either or, but
yeah, that's true.
Anyway, so the thing is, like, if you can get them to say that, like, okay, if we're to work together and, after a year or so, what we're having coffee, what would success actually look like? What do you want? Right. So you actually get to the crux of what they want. And then what you can do is you can charge a small, medium, large type of thing, meaning instead of just charging the $5,000, maybe your lowest tier is $5,000, but then you have a $5,000, $15,000, and a $60,000 a month. Like the $60,000 is the FU pricing, right? And sometimes you put like, additional levels of support. But what happens is sometimes people have such a big ego that they just go for the biggest one. It's like, no, we're going to go for the biggest one. And I've seen that happen a couple of times. So that is number 7. I hope that's helpful. And by the way, guys, you can go to singlegrain.com/call if you want to book a call with my team to grow your agency. You can do that. If it's a fit, we'll reach out. And also, Growth Accelerator, it's virtual now. It's going to be live again sometime soon. Probably not soon, but go to marketingschool.io/live. That's LIVE. And we'll see you tomorrow. All right. Noah, is it time for questions yet, or do we keep going? I forget.
Yes, because we can do some questions.
All right.
We really have 3 more to do.
All right.
Yeah, we can do some questions. From Stringers on YouTube, thoughts on multi-vendor marketplaces?
You mean like a marketplace?
Like Shopify things where you have multiple vendors set up on the things?
I think Neil and I can't really speak to marketplace because neither of us have really built a marketplace. But what I can say though is marketplaces are tough. There's a lot of good write-ups on it. And Andreessen Horowitz wrote up something about building a marketplace, but you have a chicken and egg problem, meaning you have to build on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
They're really tough to do unless you have the traffic or access to it. It's not going to work out.
Yeah. I mean, who you should study is the guy that built, he did Expedia, Glassdoor, and Zillow. You remember his name, Neil?
Rich Barton.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's done that over and over. So,
yeah. Sharon on Facebook asks, any tips for a course live launch?
Course, I'm not sure.
Launching a course. I think it's a course launch.
Yeah.
You know what?
They're trying to do it live, like launch a course
it's the
live, and then
thing. Yeah.
I would say the biggest thing is record it and then turn it into evergreen. But when you're doing a course live launch, you have to build up the hype. So if you're not building up the hype a few weeks before, you're not going to do that well. If you just like go live one day and then the previous few days you promote it, you don't build up the hype and the anticipation. It doesn't do as well when it comes to sales. Yeah,
I'll give you an example. Roland Frazier, he's actually running ads to this thing now. So a couple of weeks ago, I mentioned that he does this ethical profits in times of crisis. So it's about how to buy businesses. And I signed up for it. It's a $55 challenge. And then it was 6 days, kind of to Neil's point, 6 days of live videos. And it got me really engaged. And at the end, it made it so easy for me to just take out my credit card and pay the $2,000 for the course like an idiot. But I did feel I got definitely a lot more value than that. And so that is an example of, that's a challenge launch, but now he set it on evergreen where he's driving traffic back to that same thing. And, he's not only making money on this thing, but he's drawing in deal flow and he's also getting equity. So it's actually a very smart thing that he's doing. So
How much was it? $50?
55 and then 2,000 or 5,000 for the upsell. And then if you want him to help negotiate deals for you, he'll take equity. Yeah.
All right, I got one from Super Overdrive on YouTube. Apart from the agencies and courses, why don't you guys sell products like ebooks or even templates or other things?
Well, we do sell products, but go ahead, Neil.
Yeah, I mainly do software, and Eric does software, and he also has a course that teaches you how to grow your own agency and be more successful.
Yeah, so we have a lot of templates, processes, etc. in there. So yeah, Neil and I generally will talk about all the opportunities, but we try to focus as much as we can.
Cool. I need some more questions before we can ask questions. So
That's okay. Yeah, keep the questions coming. We're gonna do 3 more episodes, and then we'll answer questions, and then we'll be on our way and let you guys, go back to your Friday. But here we go. Ready, Neil?
Yep.
Welcome to another episode of Marketing School. I'm Eric Su.
And I'm Neil Patel.
And today we're going to talk about 5 alternative ways to promote your content in 2020. So I'll go first. First one is Zest. That's zest.is. So I mentioned this a couple episodes ago, but Zest is a little known basically promotion tool, especially if you're doing marketing or business related content. You can put your content out there. I think you can pay on the CPC basis, but you can use that to promote your content.
Number 2, most people don't do this, and I don't know why. I don't know if you do it, Eric, but we've been using Pinterest ads a lot recently for our content. It works out really well, and it's super cheap, and it drives a ton of traffic. Funny enough, we started driving Pinterest ad traffic to our content that has affiliate links, and we're getting a positive ROI because it's so cheap.
Wow. Oh, so any ads is arbitrage. I was like, oh, you're arbitraging, but that's like anything. So anyway,
but usually to affiliate links is hard to make a positive ROI, right?
No.
But Pinterest ads are so cheap. We're just like, oh, this is great.
Number 3 is number 3, you can do Taboola. You can use Outbrain. I think, Taboola and Outbrain, these are, the little, content recommendations you see on the bottom of like CNN and all these other big websites. So those, I've seen a lot of people make it work. I personally haven't made it work before. So anyway, you can test it out.
Number 4, and this one works like a charm. I do this all the time, but very few people copy me, and I don't know why. I use push notifications. So anytime I have content, I collect push notification subscribers, and I'll do blast out. And I kid you not, like I can get 7,000, 10,000 extra visitors to a blog post just by doing a push notification.
And you can go to subscribers.com to sign up for that. And then the fifth one would be Twitter. Actually, I don't think people utilize Twitter enough. This includes, I don't think people use Twitter enough. We'll just leave it at that. But I actually see the same people's promoted tweets over and over. And that does, like, the branding does affect me. Like I see, what's his name? Andrew Wilkinson from Tiny. He keeps saying, hey, you want to sell your business? Like, I keep seeing it over time. Like, it's like, that's kind of embedded in me now. So Twitter ads, I think it's definitely worth taking a look at. Do we want to go with more? Do you have more? I have another one.
Go for it.
All right. Number 6, this is a bonus. If you're in SaaS software, or if you have an agency, you could use G2 to promote your business. Capterra is another option, but these review sites basically give you an option to promote what you have going on, or you're not technically promoting your content, but you're promoting your business. So that's a bonus that doesn't really fit.
And number 7, another bonus, doesn't fit for all of you, is start collecting phone numbers on your website. Like, how you collect emails, start collecting phone numbers. We're starting to test out texting people whenever we release new content, and the click rates are through the roof. The unsubscribe rates and people saying stop texting me are also through the roof and really high. But after the first one that you send, the unsubscribe rate is drastically slowing down. So it gets better after the second, third, fourth text, and people like it. But sending them text messages every time you have new content, we're finding that works really well.
What are you using to text them? Because I know Gary Vee uses Community. What do you use?
Twilio, API integration. I have devs.
And how do you see the open rates and the unsubscribes?
So whenever we end up texting, the open rates, I don't know. We put UTM codes in the link, so we're able to
Got it.
see the click rates. But if I send out 100 text messages, we're getting like 16, 17, 18, all the way up to like 20, 21% clicks.
Got it.
But it's
Cool.
still early. I'm guessing as our list keeps building up and up, it's in the thousands. But as it really builds up and then we send them out, I bet you the click rate over to the site is going to go down.
All right. So guys, that is it for today. Go to marketingschool.io/live. That's LIVE to learn about our virtual growth accelerator. You can apply if it looks like it's a good fit. Neil and I will call you because we have nothing better to do at home. And we will see you tomorrow. Let's make this 7. Oh, you made it 7.
Yeah, I'm like, might as well change the title.
All right. Is it last one or we got 2 more?
We have 2 more.
Okay, here we go. Welcome to another episode of Marketing School. I'm Eric Sue.
And I'm Neil Patel.
And today we're gonna talk about why conversion rate optimization has become a crucial marketing skill. So CRO is basically the act of, look, your conversion rate is, let's say for every one person that buys out of the 100, that's 1% conversion rate. If you can bring it to 2, guess what? Your cost per acquisition, your acquisition costs in general are going to go down. So why has it become more crucial now than ever, Neil?
Well, ad costs are continuing to rise. And I know people are like, wait, Facebook, Google, they all got hit through COVID and ad costs went down, but they're starting to go back up. And over time, they're going to become more and more expensive. If you can't figure out how to squeeze more revenue from the visitors, and I don't want that to sound bad, but in an ethical way, if you can't figure out how to do that, the numbers aren't going to work out for you. Because there's a lot of companies nowadays that are saying, hey, we're Amazon and we're okay if we have to acquire a user and lose money on them. But in the long run, we know they'll keep coming back and back and back and buying. So we're okay with that, right? So you just have to make sure that you're optimizing your conversions so you can get a positive ROI, ideally upon them clicking over to your site from ads, because unlike at Amazon, you probably don't have the bankroll to lose money up front.
Yeah, I mean, whoever spends the most to acquire a customer ultimately wins, right? But like Neil said, you don't have the bankroll that they have, and you probably can't cover those costs as easily. So when you think about it, CRO also, I think about how it applies to search engine optimization as well. So SEO. You think about what's happening with the search engine result pages. You have rank 0 going on. You have the snippets. You have all these different things, which rank 0 isn't snippets, but you have FAQ schema. You can optimize your title, your meta description to drive more. Ultimately, what you're trying to do is you're trying to drive more results from what you have already. So if you're spending a lot and you're getting a lot of, it's not as efficient as it could be. Let's say you're spending, I don't know. I think, Neil, the question is, at what point should they be obsessed about CRO? At what spend levels or what traffic levels?
Yeah, so I look at conversions. If you're not getting like more than like 500 conversions a month, it's really hard to do CRO because you just don't have enough volume. And if you're not getting 500 conversions a month, then move more up funnel. What I mean by that is maybe you don't have 500 credit card transactions a month, but maybe you have 500 plus emails that you're collecting, right? And you can start there because you may know that an email can eventually lead to a customer as well. So start going upstream with how you're tracking.
Yeah, and on the marketing side, when you think about whoever you're working with on your marketing team, I like looking at rates. So when I like measuring when we have a scorecard and we look at KPIs each and every week, we're looking at how the rate of something is performing, because that is basically, that's not a lagging indicator like revenue. That is a leading indicator that you can continue to optimize. So what I like to do there is, let's say we have a email conversion rate goal each week. Let's say we want to get to 2%. What happens is we have these traffic lights each week. So I got this book from called the Great CEO Within. And basically it's, okay, let's say 2% is the goal. Last week we got 1%. So it's red. Okay. So we're not even close. We're 50% off. The next week we're at 1.5%. It's yellow. The next week after that, it's 1%. which is red again. So if it's red or yellow 3 times in a row, what happens is we say, okay, it's time for us to think about how we can solve the issue and get to the bottom of it. Otherwise, what happens is the quarter goes by too quickly, and you ultimately are stuck with the same result. So this goes into basically talking about operations, but that's how you can, stay on track of your CRO.
Yeah, and when you're doing all these CRO changes and you're trying to end up getting wins, keep in mind it shouldn't just be a gut feeling thing where you're like, oh, I'm gonna just try all these things out. Because remember, if you tank your conversion rates for a time being, even though when you're running a test and it loses, that means you're getting less conversions for that time. In theory, that means you've lost money. So you want to make sure you're basing things on data.
All right, everyone. That is it for today. marketingschool.io/live. That's LIVE to apply for the virtual growth accelerator. And if it looks like it's a fit, Neil and I will reach out to you and we'll have a fun conversation. All right, that's it for today. See you tomorrow. All right, last one. Oh, this one's on here we go. Welcome to another episode of Marketing School. I'm Eric Su.
And I'm Neil Patel.
And today we're going to talk about 7 lessons after 30 million podcast downloads on the Marketing School podcast. But before we do, the release of this recording is actually my birthday. So I turned 34 as of this release. So
happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you. Happy future birthday.
Happy future birthday.
Anyway, so let's talk about this. I mean, this has been fun. How long have we been doing this podcast for? 4 years, right?
Has it been 4 years?
4 years.
Oh yeah, that's right. The first episode was in my Vegas house. I haven't had the Vegas house in ages.
Yeah. So 4 years we've been doing this. We started with a Blue Yeti mic, and then we sat next to each other really close, uncomfortably close, with the AC off, with the weather about 115 degrees outside. But we started. And so we just want to share with you kind of 4 years of lessons. I think at this point we're over 35 million downloads now, but 30 million is a good number. So I'll start with number 1 and then we'll kind of, go through it.
Sure,
so
go for it.
The first one is consistency. No matter what with podcasts, when I think about the podcast I did before this, which led to Neil and I talking about doing this podcast, no matter what, I stayed consistent. Even when I was trying to save my agency, Single Grain, I decided to do a podcast, which was very stupid at the time. But, I spent 6 hours a week on it. And after the first year, I was only getting 9 downloads a day. And then, probably should have shut it down. Second year, I was only getting 30 downloads a day, but I stayed consistent. Okay. And then, eventually that led up to where it's at today. And, we're also doing this podcast. But the key thing is, even look at the Marketing School podcast, we have never, ever missed one episode. Over 4 years, we've done every single episode. It doesn't matter if Neil's sick. It doesn't matter if Neil has a baby. It doesn't matter if I'm sick. Like, no matter what, we stayed consistent. So that's the first one.
Number 2, if you're going to end up doing a podcast, might as well distribute it and try to get as much viewership, love as possible. So if you notice, we haven't done this the whole time, but we started eventually because Eric was to say, hey, let's go live. And then luckily Noah, who's here helping us record, he was able to do all of this stuff. So we started going on YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, sometimes even as well. And by just doing that, you're just getting more exposure for the same type of content that you're creating. So in essence, try to repurpose the content you're creating, because we may have gotten 30 million podcast downloads, but we've gotten millions of other views around the web from other channels as well from the same content. And it didn't take us any extra time.
Yeah. So the app we use for that is restream.io. It's a great tool. And then the third one would be using, and Neil and I, we didn't realize this even after a couple of years of experience doing my podcast, we didn't realize how important it was to have a mixer in addition to a really good microphone, because that's the only thing that you can really control. You want to control the experience because you're in people's, people are listening to you in their earbuds or whatever, right? So, we use a Heil PR40 and we use a Scarlett mixer. You can use whatever you want. But yeah, the sound quality has got to be exceptional. So.
Number 4 is don't be afraid to monetize too early. We did ours a little bit too late. From ads, thank you DreamHost for supporting us. We love them to death when it comes to hosting, and not just because they're paying us, but we really do. And we were really picky on the advertiser we picked ahead of time because we didn't want to pick someone that we didn't believe in. But you can monetize, right? We have our own mastermind event. We have tons of members in that. That's great as well. It's fun for us to do. But there's many ways you can monetize, and you should consider monetizing once you've built up somewhat of audience. Like if you're getting 10,000 plus listens or even 5,000, you can consider monetizing. Sure, you won't make a ton of money selling ebooks, but there's other ways to make income from your audience.
All right. And what is this, number 5?
5.
All right, number 5. So, if you have any type of audience at all, whether it's through social media, let's say you have 1 million Instagram followers, or whatever, or you have a good email list, you want to hit up those channels. You want to bring those audiences over, especially in the very beginning. The more volume you can have coming over to you, the more likely you are to hit new and noteworthy. And kind of on top of new and noteworthy, when you launch, I would say make sure you launch with at least 5 to 10 episodes. That way you have some sort of consistency and people can expect when to listen to your podcast.
Number 6, when you launch your podcast, you'll find that on these like stores and these places that syndicate your podcast, it'll ask you how many of your latest episodes do you want to show. Like on iTunes, a lot of people only have it set to 100 by default. Over time, you're going to record more of that. One silly little thing that we ended up doing was by making it the maximum limit. Some of them are like 300 or however many episodes they'll let you put. Show them, because the more episodes you show, the more listens and downloads you'll get on a consistent basis. It's a really stupid setting that can hurt your traffic or help it.
All right, number 7, last but not least, I really recommend reading Marketing Showrunners. There's a series. It's about 8,000 words per blog post, but it's about creating a favorite marketing podcast. And it was articulated really well, because if I think about our podcast, we're not just really announcing news, but we're giving our analysis, we're giving our opinion as well. And then sometimes it even will go as far as to inspire someone. So that's what I realize is different about our podcast. Sure, we do it every day. It's only 5 to 10 minutes each. But Neil shares his unique experiences and I share my unique experiences. So on top of the news and on top of what's going on right now, we are, because both of us were actually in the trenches running different businesses, we have different stories to share. And I think that adds a lot of color for people to follow there. So that is it for today. Go to marketingschool.io/live. That's LIVE to learn about our virtual growth accelerator. Fill out an application there, and we will see you tomorrow. Well, Neil, I guess you're going to use your regular mic because we're going to answer some questions right now. All right, Noah.
My battery's about to die, so I had to unplug it because I only have one. What is it called?
1%.
No, like one power thing in my MacBook.
Oh.
I can't plug in the mic and a power adapter.
Saved by the bell. My you from YouTube wants to run ads, but he's finding Google ads are too expensive. What other options are there to run?
Facebook, Amazon.
Pinterest.
Yeah.
Pinterest is really cheap. Reddit is really cheap right now.
The Bula Outbrain. Yeah.
Trevor on Periscope is wondering, how would each of you describe your ideal client?
I can go first. So agency side, our ideal client would be a SaaS client. We mostly focus on SaaS. Anybody that's doing over 5 million or has raised over $10 million. We try to stay around that. We do get e-commerce, kind of same revenue and, financing. And then we have education. Those are kind of the 3 areas that we play in, but it's mostly SaaS. Neil?
Anyone who's generating at least 100 million a year through online. So whether you're a big company or small company, it's more so we look at the revenue that's driven online. We do have clients that generate less than 100 million, of course, a year as well, but they said ideal. So ideal is anyone 100 plus, because then we can really do damage.
Cool. All right. Go ahead.
Augustine asks, what's your advice on coding languages for marketing?
Like Python, no, R. You should learn how to model data. That's what you should learn. Go ahead, Neil.
And then know your basic HTML, CSS, PHP, because that's what a lot of sites like WordPress are built on. You'll have to modify code.
All right. And then where do you see the Gutenberg project going with block-based interfaces?
I don't know, but it's been around for a long time, and in essence, we adapt, right? So I think it's pretty much standard. So we all just adapt to the Gutenberg stuff. I don't like it, but I've been using it for a while now, and I'm used to it.
Cool. Not a whole lot of other questions rolling in right now. So
That's totally fine.
Did you get a discount on your Peloton bike for dropping enough plugs on your other podcast?
No, but I did get 3 people that bought it from my referral link, so I got $300. That's the best.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Right. And then any suggestions on outsourcing link building and content writing? This is from
Content writing. I would go to problogger.net. Neil and I, we always use that. Jobs.problogger. And then a marketer hire has actually been a pretty good solution for high tier marketers. That doesn't solve your link building issue. I would check out shortlist.io. That's from my friend David Hensel. They're a link building service.
All right. And Super Overdrive on YouTube asks, Neil, do you have any marketing secrets you want to share that you have never told before?
I share almost everything. I really do. The magic is I just execute as fast as possible, and I try to execute before anyone else. Secrets don't last long in the marketing world. The real key is how fast can you execute.
Yeah.
That's actually a really good quote. You should quote yourself.
You okay.
I'm gonna forget, but that's actually a really good quote.
I was about to say, I'm like, you can use it as your quote, but I'm like, I already forgot it as well.
Oh, okay. There it goes.
I got one more technical question from Stringers here. There's a link in my footer to agency site that's a 403. Is there a reason why my other site server would send this request back?
I don't know. I'm not that technical.
I think you're gonna have to check with your technical person.
All right. What's your advice for hiring? Oh, I know that we added that to a future episode, but did you want to leave a think about the CTO for a product?
Yeah, let's answer it.
Yeah, sure. So why don't we record it actually? Here, let's just get another one in.
Cool.
So, oh wait, you're not plugged in. Never mind. Yeah, we'll just answer it right now, and we'll answer it again later. So great CTO for product. There's a couple ways you can do it, but the way I found my ClickFlow the co-founder was through a SaaS group. It was on a Facebook group, and I was just scrolling through it. And there's actually people that sometimes they're like, hey, like I'm looking to do my next thing. Here's what I worked on. There's a lot of these scenarios in Facebook groups where you have really smart people just hanging out. And then I just struck up a conversation with him. And then, we went from there. So I was just looking for people where the attention was relevant, had a conversation, and we said, hey, what are you interested in building? What are your dreams? What are you trying to do? And then we became, really good friends, and we're still good friends today. The other thing you can do is you can go to TopTal is not for CTOs. It's more so for looking for people that actually just kind of do the work. But what you can do is aside from using recruiters, especially right now, I would go to layoffs.fyi. That's a place you can go to for technical people, because I've spoken to some technical people like from big companies that have been laid off, director of engineering, CTO level people. There's a lot of those available right now. And you want to parachutelist.com. This just came out, and it's a more organized version of finding CTO level people.
So I usually go to LinkedIn or any of the sites where my competitors are on and go find out who worked for them. Usually not their CTO, because it may be too expensive, especially when I'm starting off, but like their director of engineering or someone who's been there and they climbed up from maybe like a junior engineer to mid-level to higher level. And I try to poach some of those people and get them to do it for me, because it's like, if they did it for my competition, they got promoted, they can probably do it for me.
Cool. All right, guys. I guess, Noah, that's it, right?
Yeah, one more on TikTok. We haven't talked about TikTok yet. What are your views on that as far as leveraging B2B? Is it better for B2C or can it work for B2B?
I don't really pay attention to it on B2B right now. And I know Gary Vee does it. I don't know what it's done for him. Neil?
I've never seen people use it effectively for B2B. Use it for B2C.
All right, guys, that is it for today. We will see you probably next week or the week after, and hope you had fun.